Good afternoon, everyone. This is the American 14.1 Pool Championships. We have the Women's Division Final. I am Michael Frank, and I am here today with Dawn Hopkins. Dawn is a pool player, an ESP commentator, an owner-operator of the league franchise in New Jersey, and she is the holder of many championships. So it's really a pleasure to sit here with her today. I have been with the American 14.1 since it was founded in 2005, and today, this week actually marks the inaugural event for the women's division. So it's the revival of straight pool, and in my for a women's division, and to my memory, it's been about 25 or 30 years, hasn't it, since there's been a women's straight pool championship in a major tournament?
Yeah, we were trying to figure that out. Hi, by the way. Hi for everybody at home that's listening. Thank you for having me. And, yeah, it's been definitely over 20. I cannot remember the year, though.
Is the stream on?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Okay.
They were asking if the stream was
Yeah,
on.
you got that. Yeah.
Anyway, that was the referee. So this has been an awesome thing that Peter has done to put this together, the American 14.1 Straight Pool Championship. That was a nice break there, opening break that she just did.
So Kelly Fisher lost the lag, and she had to break the balls. As many of you know, in pool, the opening break is a defensive shot. Two balls have to hit the rail, and the cue ball has to hit the rail, or it's not a legal break. So Kelly made a legal break, and Pia is probably here going to play safe, I think, off the 11 ball.
Yes, she is. Of course. Well, that was not good. You don't want to leave Kelly with an open shot because Kelly is on fire. She's just such a great shot maker. And her competitive mental
she's tough.
side is unbelievable. She's got it up in the middle of the table for a perfect breakout.
Well, that's a good point, the competitive mental part of this game. It's an unusual sporting event in the sense that your opponent can only sit and watch you when you are shooting, and it can go on for a long time, and yet you have to get up and perform, or really can't win at this level.
Absolutely. Very nice breakout. She came through the balls. Jack Colavito, he's a player from way back when.
I remember Jack.
I met him some years ago in New Jersey, and he gave me some great advice on that. He said, if your opponent is running balls and you're sitting in the chair, he said, and then you finally get up to get a shot, just take a side and just stroke a little bit, like get your stroke going on the side on the table before you actually shoot the next shot, because you're not warmed up yet. So I thought that I used that actually at 9-ball even.
That's I can see where it's good advice. Loosens you up a little bit. So Kelly is the number 1 ranked women's player. Is that correct?
I've heard that. I can't confirm
You
that.
can't confirm it.
Yeah, if you go on the WPBA website, you'd be able to. But Kelly is being inducted into the BCA Hall of Fame on the 29th of this month. So she's going to be leaving here and going over there to get that prestigious title. So we're very proud of her.
That's great. And she'll be inducted on the men's side. I know Thorsten Holman is being inducted on the men's side. And he played in this tournament earlier in the week in the men's division. So, 100.
Yes, so we're going to be racing to 100 on this match. Throughout the week, we were racing to 80. But now we've increased it in the finals.
Well, another point of interest is Pia Filler's husband, Joshua Filler, will be playing for the men's title.
Did he win a semifinal
He did,
match?
yes.
Okay.
So now we have a husband and wife combo, which
Wow.
I think is the first time in full history that that's
I
happened.
would say possibly, yes.
So if they have a child, we'll have to start a junior division, and they'll be able to play in all three. So when did you start playing pool, Dawn?
1983.
Oh, you
I
did.
remember the time. And I was in Melbourne, Florida, and just started taking lessons from this person, Charlie Lambert, and he taught me all the basic fundamentals, so I had all of that down right from the beginning, which was a big help. And a year later, I played in the U.S. Open here in Virginia, actually.
I'm sure I would have seen it.
It was
Since I didn't miss
that was
any.
in 1984.
Yeah,
The
I'm
U.S.
sure.
Open in 1984. So that was a very exciting time for me,
I'll bet.
as is this, because here I am back in Virginia, and it's, playing a game that really we don't play very, like you said, it's been over 20 years since the girls here in the U.S. have played. I think the girls in Europe play it during their European
that's true.
championships.
Yeah, that's true. They play a little bit. The men play more straight pool in Europe than here as well. So Peter pretty much revived this game in 2005. We started out with a $700 first prize. I mean, a $700 total pool, which was $500 to the winner and $200 for second. And from there, it's grown largely to his efforts. I mean, he had a very clear vision of where he wanted to go. And he's always doing something great for the game, I think.
I'm very, very happy that he's done that, and I hope anybody out there listening, if you like the great game of straight pool, give Peter a shout out and see how you can get involved to help him keep this going. And if you have not played straight pool, I suggest you take it up, because it is teaching me a ton about the game that I don't really get from 9-ball.
Well, it's very interesting. And actually, I will say that we couldn't be where we are today without the help of Predator. Predator is really the major sponsor for the women's division, and we want to thank them for their support.
Kelly's also sponsored by Predator.
Okay.
So I know that they have done a lot for the sport over the years, and we really appreciate that, as well as this pool room. Q Master Billiards is the location is fantastic. So P is really playing strong today. Actually, she beat me up right before this match, and I don't think she missed maybe 2 balls in the whole set.
Yeah, I watched that match, and actually she's playing very well. She's been playing very well all week, really. But it's really been great to have the women players here. Just wonderful. So I'm sure this will be the first of many, we hope. So what's she thinking about now?
Well, I think she's going to play the 14 and come around 2 rails, or stop it and play that 4 on the side. She's got the 8-ball as a break shot. I believe that's a pretty good break shot. So she's got I think the key ball is going to be the whatever that stripe, the 12 ball up the rail. That's probably going to be the key ball. So I think she's got to come around for the 4 maybe. Oh, I don't know what
Yeah.
or why she did that.
She's in trouble now.
Unless maybe the 8 was not
In fully outside the rack.
yeah, it's hard to see from here where that line is.
So in order for the player to leave a break shot, the ball has to be outside of the triangle. Otherwise, if the ball remains in the triangle, then it's the last ball. It'll be racked with all the other balls, and it won't be a break shot. So
Yeah, if she can see this, then she'd make the 8 in the side, then probably play the 12 and draw it down to play the 4 in the side for a break shot. But that's, again, pretty tight.
yeah.
Maybe she can't
So
see it.
I guess the lesson here for many people is it pays to pick out your problems early and to maneuver a break ball so that you, in the end, toward the end of the rack, you don't have to worry about that. In this case, that's not what happened, and she's forced to play safe. But she does leave Kelly a shot here.
Yeah, I like Kelly making this shot because, like I said, she's. I get that snooker background has definitely helped her with potting balls.
Yep. So she'll play the 4 in the side and coast down to. Very good shot. So
Yes.
she's going to have very good position on the 8 ball.
Well, so now she could use the 12 again as a break shot if she comes back to about somewhere where the cue ball is, and then just draws into the rack.
That's exactly what she's going to do. She's going to go
Maybe one rail. You
one
think?
rail off the long rail into the rack balls. So what's always interesting to me on these shots is where the player is trying to hit the rack with the cue ball.
Right, because you could easily scratch.
And you can get stuck if you hit it on the side. There you go. So, yeah, you can.
I worry more about. I like hitting the bottom couple of balls.
The
and
first
just
2
kinda
balls.
Put the bottom ones.
Yeah,
The first 2 are kind of scary. I don't know. Again, I'm still learning. So
are you trying to hit toward the side or in the? 'Cause a lot. The point Dawn's making is really important. Where you hit the rack with the cue ball determines which way the cue ball is going to go and which way the balls are going to break out. So when some shots like this, unless you can hit it really hard, if you hit at certain points and it comes into the side of the balls, it can get stuck there.
Right.
So if you aim toward the lower balls, it'll roll off and probably leave you a lot of shots. I think that's what we're trying to get at here. So she did a good job.
Yes,
really
that's
good job.
exactly. That's
Right.
what I was talking about. Come down and hit the lower. If you hit too high, I think you can, or too hard, you could come off and scratch.
No, she hit him perfectly. I mean,
Yeah.
that was just a perfect shot.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things you really have to learn about straight bull. That it's a continuous learning process. I think I've been playing for 60 years, and I'm still amazed how much I learn every time I watch players who can really play at a high level.
And then you can know how to do it, but like this is very, very precise. Like we're talking 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch difference in hitting a ball will determine if you get stuck in the pack or come off the pack. It's like very. I thought I had pretty decent cue ball control in 9 ball. I came and started playing this, and I'm like, oh no. Yeah, because I have to get in very small areas.
Yeah, it's a very interesting game. From a lot of people who don't play it feel because you can shoot any ball you want and all the balls are worth 1 point, that it's easier than some of the rotational games. But in fact, it isn't really, because the players at this level are planning out pretty much 3 or 4 or 5 shots in advance, and they have to, even though Kelly's just starting the rack, I'm sure she's already trying to think about what she's going to leave as a break ball for the next rack.
Yeah, because like this, for example, you think, okay, let me just blast into it. I'll just draw and come right in. But there's not a safety ball. A safety ball is, leaving a ball by either bottom pocket so that if you go into these balls, you're going to not have a problem if you get stuck. So she opted not to do that for that reason, because there's no safety ball down at the bottom. So now she'll go into the rack, and at least she's got a couple of balls up top that are opened. See, it didn't really break.
The way she
It
wanted
didn't
it.
do anything much. It really just took those 2 balls that were already open.
So she is thinking about now how she's going to get the rest of that pack open,
Right.
because that's critical to her continuing to run, and that's also why the game is called 14.1 continuous. So the object of the whole rack is to get a break shot and be able to go into the next rack after this rack is concluded. So I don't know what she's going to do, but the one ball, if she could get on the side of the one ball where the 6 is with an angle, she could break the rack easily from there, but she has to get there.
Well, I think this is a good way. You just play the 8. See, I don't know what she's going to do, but if you play the 8, maybe she's trying to go into it now.
Yeah.
I don't like this. This is very hard to do. But she's such a good shot maker.
Yeah, she was very
Like,
good.
to me, I would have liked to play the 8 and get straight on the 6, roll down,
Yeah,
and then
that's the way I
break
would have done
in.
it. Yeah, but you can't fault what she did. I mean,
No.
she really made a great shot there.
She just has a lot of confidence in her pocketing. Kelly actually owns a room called Sands Billiards. Sands like the beach sand.
In Edison,
No, in where she lives overseas.
in Dumfries, England.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's England. Isn't it Scotland, I thought?
Oh,
I
isn't
thought
it?
she was in
I thought
Scotland.
it was Dumfries. Maybe I think it's Dumfries, but maybe I moved it from Scotland to England.
You might be right, because I didn't ask her that, but she owns a pretty good sized place, so she's also a business owner, and so she's got a really good business head, and she's a great person on top of that. She's got a coach, Lionel, who has been teaching her for over 30 years.
Wow.
All right, so the 9 here is the break shot, right? The 8 is probably the key
Yes.
ball.
Yes.
And then you look, they say look for a triangle. She's going to have to, she's trying to choose which one she should do to get over to the 8. If this is dead straight,
She'll just draw it back, you think?
yeah, I don't know what the angle is, so I can't really predict.
Oh, there we go.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so she's opted to.
I think she just overdrew it a little bit. I think she does want that.
Yeah, she wants to shoot the 8
13 ball.
last, but she's now going to have to play the
Yeah.
8 ball. But she did hit it pretty hard. So now she has a couple options here. She can stick the cue ball, leave the cue ball right here in the rack, and she would be able to place it in the kitchen. She's not going to do that because her position plays better. So she'll probably draw this back.
In the kitchen, meaning in the where the balls are
Yeah, at
being
the top,
racked.
where you can almost see a faint
Oh, I mean,
line if
yeah,
you're
up top.
watching the screen.
So she's got a nice breakout. And really what you want to do is just try to not to, I mean, if the best thing is just doing stop, stop, stop. Somebody told me once, well, how do you determine the key ball? You would say, if you know the break ball, then you would take, if you had ball in hand, which ball would be the best and easiest ball to get to that break shot?
All right. As Kelly comes to this rack with a break shot on the 9 ball, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Tony Robles, who is an expert at this game, which I am not.
Well, thank you, Michael.
Okay,
It was really nice
it's fun.
hanging with you for a little bit.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yes,
I
sir.
enjoyed
Thank
it.
you, Mr. Michael Frank. Definitely
All right.
appreciate it sitting in the booth.
All right, Chris, that's Big Al's son, giving us a little boost here.
Tony,
Hey, Dawn, how are you?
good. How are you?
I'm very proud of you.
Oh,
You did very good in this tournament and came within one match of making it to the finals. So
thank you very
I'm
much.
super proud of you. I watched you play. You came up with some doozy of some shots. You know, you made some great shots. So
Thanks so much.
and you played smart too. You played smart, and that's what this game is all about. It's a lot of people think that when it comes to straight push, it's all about hitting these high runs. But when you end up in a bind, you have to know. You have to strategize. You have to know when to take a scratch and all that stuff. So Kelly just missed an 11 ball there.
Yeah, Tony, you played in the tournament also.
Mm-hmm.
And the night before we started, was it the night before we started? You were giving me some quick lessons. He was. I said, Tony, can you show me something? And then he's such a good teacher. And then afterwards, I saw you showing other people things, and you're just like natural at it.
I love helping people, but you know, it's like all of a sudden people started coming to me and says, "Hey Tony, I know straight pool's your best game. Can you help me out here, whatever?" And I'm not gonna say no, Dawn. You know that. It's hard for me to say no. You know.
Yeah, but I was kidding him because he
Yeah.
was teaching my opponents the same thing, and I'm like, wait a minute.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So take me through this. What's going on here? It's 22-6.
Yeah, Kelly has just been, she's just such a great shot maker, and she's getting around the balls really nice. Pia had made a mistake earlier on position play and let Kelly back at the table, so Kelly's ahead, but now the roles are reversed. I just played Kia in the match before, and she missed maybe 1 or 2 balls, which is, is pretty good for this event. And 1 or 2 balls, so she's very capable here of just keeping control of the table also.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny. I spoke to Josh and Pia right before this match started, and I said, "Hey, Josh, does she make you watch her matches like my wife does with me? Because I know if I don't, I get in a lot of trouble.
Oh boy!
I mean, if I'm on the phone and I miss a crucial shot that she might have made a mistake on, I joke around about it, but we support each other. I love supporting my wife.
It's funny
I like
because some people want their husband to watch, or vice versa, and some don't.
Yeah.
Because it puts a lot of more pressure, I think, on them.
Well, that's what makes Pia and Joshua such a great team, because they support each other, and you know, he's over there sitting down and watching the match, even though he has a final to play at 6 o'clock. So I think it speaks volumes that he's here watching when he could just be there practicing. You know.
Right. So what do you think, Tony? Any trouble here that you see?
You know, I can't tell from here. Well, now that I look at the table, the 15 is kind of on the low side, but I can't tell if the 8-ball's in the rack. It looks like it's not in the rack. So I would use a 15 to get to the 2 and use a 2 to get to the 14. So she's going to shoot the 8, so I guess she decided that she's not going to use that as a break ball then. So if that's the case, she might just decide to use a 15 somehow, you know, maybe come off the bottom rail. But another strategy that I like to use, if the 2 ball has access to the corner pocket and you're able to shoot a stop shot on the 2 ball, getting straight after shooting these 2 balls, you can shoot the 14 in the corner and bump the 13 out for a break shot while stopping the cue ball there for a cut shot on the 15.
Right.
I don't know if that's what she's thinking, but, you know, see, now if there were a ball on the bottom rail somewhere, then I would shoot the 13 in the side and bump the 14 out and then play position. Everything depends. See, she might have gotten just right on that. Maybe a hair.
So you're saying roll down a little bit, play the 14 in the bottom right corner, and then just push the 13 over a little, and that's a better break shot because it's higher. So it's better to be higher in the
exactly.
rock
Because
than below.
when you're higher, you hit the top of the rack as opposed to one of the corner balls. When you shoot, you know, come off one of the corner balls, especially if you have a little bit of an angle. If you have a lot of angle, it's different. The balls don't spread as much because you're not going to the center or the core of the rack. I see she hit that so perfectly.
So now the key is not to overstroke it. You just want to think about how hard to push it over.
Exactly.
And you don't want to catch the bottom of the 13. You want to kind of go into it full, right? Because if you catch the bottom of it, it's going to go up.
Well, that's why she needed to leave it there, because she actually has a perfect angle where she's just going to run right to the center of it. So all she has to do is just tap it, but she wants to make sure she doesn't hit it too soft because she doesn't want to have to shoot over the 13.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point because it's foul on all balls. So
she decided to go with the 15. She you know, that's what she feels comfortable with.
yeah, maybe the angle wasn't quite there to do what we were talking about.
But the way she drew the ball for the 14, I would say she had the angle. She just didn't feel comfortable.
Right.
You know, sometimes if you haven't shot certain shots enough times when it comes to bumping balls, you don't feel quite comfortable, so you'd rather take and secure the points. Because how many times do you see someone lose a match by a couple of points? So every point matters here. She's playing Kelly Fisher. Hey, let me make as many balls as I can. At least, you know, I'm in the game.
Right.
Right?
Right. Okay, so they're discussing the score. Kelly's at 24.
He is breaking, the score is 24 to 18.
Yeah, the score has to be adjusted.
Okay, there
because,
it is. There it is.
She just had 6. There's no way she made only 4 balls. So now she's going to try to draw. And the thing with this shot is you can end up going towards the corner pocket if you hit it too hard. So you don't want to hit it that hard.
Oh, she didn't get the draw on it, right? Maybe because she was reaching.
Yep. And her cue probably came up.
So this is kind of a pretty common
trying to-
safety, right?
Yeah, she's trying to hit the 3 to the rack, to the rail. But she got the 9, though. That means that line of balls was frozen. You see? She hit it with just the right speed. Whenever I play a safe like that, Dawn, I try to hit the side of the ball so I can nestle the cue ball in between the 5 and the 1. Because when you do that and you hide the 6 ball from them, they're forced to go off one of the balls to play return safety. And once they go off that ball, now you're really trying to hide the 6 so you can use the 6 to play a return safety after they play a safety off the ball. So it's
Right.
like kind of like you're thinking a couple of moves ahead.
It's like a chess game,
Mhm.
right? So now here's one. Do you freeze? Do you come 2 rails and get into the back of the pack?
No,
Do
I
you-
leave it right by the corner pocket because see, I would have left the cube. I would have hit the 6 fuller, right, to bank it towards the 9 ball and leave the cue ball by the bottom right hand pocket because that way the 6 is on that side. And you literally leave her no shot. See, because over here you can still leave the 9 ball
Yes.
or the 3 ball. So it's so much tougher with the angle she had to go all the way back
Gotcha.
up there.
Yep. Yep. I don't think she made that.
Oh. Yeah, I wasn't sure.
She didn't miss any of those on me, damn it.
That's how it is sometimes, you know. You have your good matches, you have your bad matches. Look what happened to me. The first 3 matches I played in the tournament, Federgors ran 129 on me, Mika ran 181 on me, and Victor Zelensky ran 96 and out on me.
Wow.
And you know, I'm playing my best game, and I'm saying, man, I'm not getting that many opportunities. But I never had a shot. I never had an open shot against Federgors, but I did have a couple of shots against Zelensky, and I had only one opportunity, offensive opportunity against Mika. So I give them credit for running the balls, you know, and I just have to work on missing a little less. You know,
That's right.
that's all we can do, right?
Well, in your game, it's could be just one shot that's a mistake
Yeah.
that you make, and it might not even be missing a ball. It might
Yep.
be a bad safety,
Absolutely.
or maybe when you're pushing the balls around, you leave them a dead,
Mhm.
you know, a dead combo. Or
See, over here, she needs to get the cue ball out of there to make sure that she doesn't have to shoot over the rack just in case she doesn't get a shot. She has a 3 ball as a Geico.
Mm.
Geico's an insurance shot. I think she might be able to make the 10 here. I'm not sure if it goes past the 8.
well, she for sure can make the 3, and she can also make that the 13 ball. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not like she's totally
Yeah.
stuck. But those insurance balls, like that 3 was your Geico that you were talking about.
How awesome is it that she's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame?
I know. She's getting, I think I mentioned it earlier, but in case I didn't, it's on the 29th here into the BCA Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all very proud of her on that. And all the women on the WPBA tour.
Yeah, it's very deserving, too. She's very deserving.
Well, and she is totally one of the nicest people that we
Jeremy,
play
yeah.
with on the tour. She's so sweet.
So So here it looks like the 7 is a possible break shot for the bottom of the rack. So I wouldn't want to disturb that. And the other possibility is a 1 ball behind the rack break shot, because you kind of have, you know, a couple of balls there that are almost parallel to the. See, I always try to keep the balls parallel or close to parallel to the 1 ball. So that way it makes it easier for you to gain access to a nice break shot towards the end of the rack. Good thing here is that the 5 ball goes, the 14 goes past. So she just has to negotiate this right here. If the 8 ball goes past the 2, she's in the clear. If not, she's going to have to figure out a way to run into these.
Right.
And one option is if she can somehow end up with an angle on the 14 and bump the 10 slightly, and then, you know, slightly bump the 8 ball, the cue ball stops there for the 2 in the corner. And you just hit it with enough speed to make sure that the 8 ball ends up in the bottom rail but doesn't come back up and tie up with the 1, because that's another mistake I see a lot of players make. They're not conscious of, you know, what speed to hit the cluster with, and not studying the angles that the balls are coming off.
Mm-hmm. So if she's dead straight,
Then
or
she
if
should
she
draw
has a-
back for the 14.
but if she
But I
has,
think, oh yeah, oh well, the 1 goes, yeah. See, I didn't think she could do that.
but I don't quite like this, because now there's quite an angle on the 1, so that cue ball's going to be moving a bit.
Yeah, but I don't see her getting stuck here, because even if she comes off the 8, the 10, or one or the other, she comes off just the 8 or just the 10 or both, the 8 and the 10, cue ball will either end up with the shot on the 2 ball in the lower hand, but more importantly, the shot on the 14.
As long as she doesn't go between. Oh, there she goes, and then she's got the 14. Okay.
Yeah, but I think she tried to bump the 10. I saw her reaction, but she's actually not in bad shape here, because she has a perfect angle to hit the left side of the 8 ball and play position for the 8 ball in the opposite corner, and then she could use the 8 ball to go to the other side of the table to play the 2 and the 10. Right?
Well, that works too.
Yeah.
Not the way you were
Yeah.
saying, but
Well, I thought she was going to hit the edge of the ball. I was looking at from
Right,
here, but
right.
that's just as good. The only difference is that here you have to work a little harder. That's what makes straight pool such a great game, because every player prefers to run the rack a different way. And you know, it's like I've always considered, the reason why I think I fell in love with straight pool is because it taught me how to solve puzzles. You feel like you're solving a puzzle every single rack. You never have the same exact rack, but you see patterns and sequences that repeat themselves over and over.
do you play chess?
I never have.
No.
The only thing I know about chess is how to spell it. That's it. I don't
I'm
know how to play.
surprised. If you like that, you would probably love chess.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's a thinking person's game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this takes a lot of thought.
Yeah, Chris
Chris is nodding, saying he plays chess.
Don't tell on me. I played at the spot once.
yeah, you're ruining Chris's action.
Oh, oops.
So
Oh.
see, look. That's smart. That's smart, because she didn't have to move the cue ball. Remember I told you that the best way to play straight pool is to minimize the movement of the cue ball whenever possible. So I like the pattern that she chose there.
Okay. But the break ball is a little.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't know if she got it out of the rack. Did she get it out of the
Mhm.
rack? I can't tell.
I don't know. If she did, she's got quite an angle for this cut.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure she wanted to draw back another 2 or 3 inches.
I mean, look, I prefer to shoot a side of the rack break shot, but if this is, you know, makes it easier to run out the rack, yeah, of course I would want to have less of an angle. But I like the fact that she minimized the movement of the cue ball there.
37 to 19. Kelly is breaking, leading.
Oh, and the finals are raced to 100, huh?
Yes, we're
Oh,
going
great.
to 100 here. We've been going to 80 throughout
Mhm.
the tournament, and we're here with the American 14.1 Straight Pool Championships. In case you have just joined, and this is the first ever women's division
That's
of this
fantastic.
tournament. There's been an open division for years, but the women haven't played. Great shot.
Nice shot.
But see, Tony, now, as hard as she hit that, there's only 3 balls open after that shot. So that
Yeah,
is that because of where she hit that in the
that's
rack?
correct. Because she hit the corner, and you know what I was going to say before is when you shoot that break shot when you're the bottom rail, once you come off that bottom rail, you want to try your best to come at in a diagonal angle, not a straighter line, because when you come in a straighter line, it increases the chances of you hitting one of those balls dead straight, dead square, and stopping the cue ball by the bottom of the rack. Where if you hit in between the balls, you have a better chance of escaping, and then see more balls besides this. Because if the 12 ball didn't come out there, she wouldn't have a shot.
Right.
That's not always the case. But I'm wondering if that combination is on, or
the
both
14,
of them.
The 14, 13.
Mm-hmm. Because I'm looking at it from here, it doesn't look dead straight, but it looks like it's pretty close to it. Because if that's the case, she might want to roll the cue ball up, so that way she can shoot the combination at an angle, so that way the cue ball has a chance to. Ooh, she missed the ball. She moved there. She moved there.
She did move, didn't she?
Yeah.
I saw that. Right in mid-stroke.
But if Pia sees this combination, she might shoot. I mean, she can shoot it now if she wants to, and then leave the 14 there and use the 14 as a break ball, afterwards. But, if it's completely on, you might want to consider shooting the 2 or the 15 and leave the cue ball by where she's cueing. So that way she has an angle to make the combination and send the cue ball into the rack.
Yeah, otherwise if you just shoot it straight, I mean, you'll get the one ball to stay there, and maybe that would be another break shot,
But I also like the idea of leaving the 2 there. If it were possible, if I felt good enough, I would shoot the 15. Believe it or not. And then have the angle so that if I shoot the combination and I hit the 14 a little bad and I can't see it, I have the 2 as a Geico.
she's taking it now.
Mm-hmm. That's why I said if she shoots that one, all she has to do is control the 14, because she can use the 14 as a break shot.
Right.
Afterwards, I mean, doesn't have to be right away. She can shoot one of these and get there, but if she happens to get on it, which I don't know, I don't know, she can't make it.
No.
It doesn't go.
It
But that's
came
what I
down.
mean. That's why it was good to leave the 2 there, just in case she didn't get on this ball. She has an insurance shot there. But you see what she's looking at there, right? She's looking to see if the 10, 3, 14 is on.
Well, that's one thing that I learned, is you have to walk around the whole, just walk around, because you may see something from a different angle. There might be something dead in the side, and then you'd be playing position different.
I'm thinking she's
You think she can?
she's liking that combination. If she does end up shooting that combination, she needs to really guard against the scratch in the lower left-hand pocket, because she would probably have to hit it on the thin side in order to, get the angle, gain the angle she needs to make the combination.
Yeah, you wouldn't really. You'd rather be more straight on, a little straight on that, not this big angle. So, how do you hit this, Tony? With low?
You hit it with a lot
to
of speed, because you want the 10 to give the rest of the thing speed. I mean, the rack speed. So she hit that really, really nice.
That was a good shot. Very good.
It doesn't appear like the 9 goes. Yeah, the 9 ball. The 9
I
ball
think if
doesn't
she's
go.
on this side, it would go.
That's why she needs to get rid of the 6 to open up the pocket for the 9. And if she hit this with soft draw, there's always a possibility that she can move the 7 into break shot territory as well. She wants to hit the side of it, because she's going to end up with a shot on the 5 regardless. So when you run into the 7, if possible, try to hit the right-hand side of it. See,
She
because
hit
if you
the-
hit it
yeah,
that square, it's
you
going to
would've
go
had-
straight out,
right.
yeah. But, she might have not had the angle, so. But at least she opened up the pocket for the 9 ball to go in the lower left-hand pocket, but now she might have to come up with a shot. Very nice.
Ooh, close.
But she made it because she stayed down, right?
She did not move. So now she's got to roll this up, and then she'll have the 9 and the 3.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she can if she wants to. I mean, she doesn't like that angle. She might choose to shoot the 4 and then the 10 to the 9 on the opposite pocket. The only way I could see her shoot this is if she knows she's going to end up with a shot on the 5. Because, you might end up with a shot on the 3 and the 9, but, you have to hit it right.
Well, and you still are trying to create that break shot that she just did there with the 3, so that's great.
Yeah, the 3 is a little bit on the low side, just a
Right.
little bit.
But still if you
In
get
range.
straight enough on it,
Yeah, absolutely.
you don't want a big angle on that.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
You want to get the other side.
Mm-hmm. In worst case scenario, she can always come off the bottom rail too, and go to the back of the rack. You know, if she ends up with a
Mhm.
decent angle. You know, another possibility here is to come off the rail with the 5 and move the 4 like towards the center of the table and possibly create a
Side
side
pocket break.
But you know, it all depends. Like I said, everyone's different.
I've not seen her choose a side pocket break.
Yeah. Well, you have to feel comfortable with it too.
Yeah.
Not everyone feels comfortable with those
I
shots.
kind of like the side pocket break when it's up above the side pocket a little
That's the
bit.
best one.
I love that
Because you could
shot.
blast away with that.
Yeah. So she's going to have to take the 3 here, right? So
I'm just wondering if she's thinking of just leaving the 4 ball and using the 2 to get to the 4 ball.
I'll bet
Because
she's going to use that 1 as the break ball.
it should be. That should definitely be the break ball. Because if she decides to go 3, 2, 4, then she's on the correct side. But I've seen her use this shot quite often. She got a nice angle there.
Hmm.
Go back and forth a bit.
That's one thing that her ball speed has been close to perfect. Because think about this, she's moving this ball at
Yeah.
least, there's 4, there's 8,
Yeah.
10 feet, and look how perfect.
Yeah, I mean, that's about as good as you can get. See, but over here, I would roll the ball down so that way I gain more of an angle on the one ball as opposed to stopping it there. Because if you stop it there, you have less of an angle, and you have to hit it with a little more speed and be a little more precise. You see? But if you roll it down here,
Another,
now you have more
4
of an angle.
inches. Yeah, good point. And you're not really shooting over the rack, so you don't have to worry about that.
Commentators, Dawn Hopkins. Who's Dawn Hopkins? I'm
I
just
don't know.
kidding.
She must know Tony Robles.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, it's funny because, when Jonathan, my 25-year-old boy, was maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, and I used to bring him to the expo with me, Alan, when Alan saw how close they became because they started hanging out and playing all the time.
He's
together.
talking about my son, Bo, and
Yeah.
his son. Simonis cloth, which, Tony, this is like the best cloth on earth. They're a great company. Ivan Lee has been a wonderful person to deal with over the years, and then we have beautiful tables that we're playing on, of course, the diamond tables, and then Q Master Billiards. This room is
Legendary.
unbelievable.
Yeah, the room is legendary. It has so much rich history, this room.
Have you walked around and looked at all the pictures?
I have not.
You need to, because
Yeah.
you're in some of those pictures. But so what they've done is this room has got 4 large size rooms, and in those rooms there's 75 altogether tables within these 4
it's
rooms.
insane.
But they have memorabilia all over the place. Past you past champions from other events that they've held here, and it's just great to see all the players that I remember from quite a while ago, that some of them here still, some of them not. So if you ever get a chance to get down here, and the staff is unbelievable.
Yeah, and the food is amazing too. So you know that shot that she just shot, the break shot?
Right.
Very, very common for the Cubo to end up there all the time. I always tell people when you shoot that shot, you either want to hit it softer so you don't give it a chance to escape there, or hit it harder so that when it hits the top rail, it works its way back down.
I notice a lot of the men are doing that. A lot of the men are drawing all the way up and back down again. They're giving it a really full stroke. Oh, that's a costly mistake.
Yeah, it was a tough shot. She's shooting from the top rail, so.
But you have to say the error is from the position off the break.
Yeah.
And the more you know this game, the more you kind of, like
Agreed.
when you're going into a ball into the rack, if you're hitting the top of the ball during the break, if you're hitting the top of the ball, the middle of the ball, or the bottom of the ball, it determines where you're going to be.
100%.
So if you misjudge that, you can really get yourself in trouble.
That's correct, yeah. I wonder, do you think the 11 and the 6 are straight, Dawn?
I don't think so, and I'm not even sure that. I don't know. It's hard to see from this angle.
See, over here, she's really going to get movement from the 11 and the 6, not really much from the rack. I mean, the 3 might move a bit. Okay, so she didn't want to touch it. But, you know, this is, again, player preference. When she first got to the table, she had the 14 right in front of the pocket, and she could have chosen to shoot the 8, break them up, and have the 14 in front of the pocket as a Geico. I thought that was a shot. But I thought that maybe she decided to shoot the 14, play position on the 10, and then run into the rack, and then try to come back down here for the 8 ball.
Well, she's playing position for the 7 to be the break, but the problem is, like you said, there's not really a Geico at this point. She's going to get a lot of speed, hopefully. But
I would hit this with a lot of draw, and I would, like, smash it. So that way it'll draw right through the rack once it, you know, goes in between the 9 and the 13. There you go, just like that.
Yeah, but see how hard she had to hit it? And look, there's still a pretty good cluster. So you're probably right about that first choice. You know, I'm sure you're right about that first choice because you had enough angle to have the momentum.
Well, you had a built-in insurance shot, and you know the other thing is, you know, whenever you have a cluster, what I try to tell people is very important. Is let's say you have a cluster and you have 3 possible balls to break the cluster with. Always choose the one that's going to take you into the heart of the cluster. See, because if you choose one that's only going to hit the bottom of the cluster, you're not really achieving much because you're only breaking up part of the cluster.
Right.
You're not really breaking up the cluster. So now you have to work that much harder.
Right,
You know?
right. Plus, isn't it, you're trying to go in to see the gaps in between, like that cluster of 4 balls. You have gaps, so you'd rather go into the gap, right? Because that gets movement on both sides.
Yeah.
Versus coming in full. I mean, that's something that Stu Matana, thank you, Stu.
Yeah.
He helped me out a little bit before I came to the tournament and my crash course of straight pool.
It's awesome. He's so knowledgeable. It's insane the amount of knowledge that Stu has. I've learned some stuff from Stu throughout the years. Early, yeah.
I think many players have.
So here, you know, I mean, I don't know if she's going to play position for the 8 and try to run into them, but she needs to solve this puzzle ASAP. You know, if none of the balls go in any of the pockets, I mean, if she's able to shoot the 8 and play the 13 in the corner pocket, I don't think it goes. I'm looking at it from here. I can't tell. Or try to break him up with the 4 ball in the side pocket and then come and attack it this way, because at least if she splits the 3 and the 6, you know, the 3 and the 9, she might be able to move the 13 a bit. Yeah, I don't think she wanted to end up there. I think she was what I was saying.
Yes.
You know, go a little higher and use that ball.
Yeah, but she still has a chance to do something here, like if she rolls it up.
But if she rolls it up and she chooses a 12 in the side pocket and decides to go 2 rails for the breakout,
Yeah.
you have to be very careful, because if you hit part of the 13 and the cue ball comes off the 13 and then the 6, you're going to go towards that lower corner pocket. And even though you might not scratch the cue, see, she's looking at it right there. She's pointing at the pocket. She knows that she's in a bit of a trap here.
Right.
So if you're able to bypass a 13 and hit the 6, and you know that's a little tricky to judge, but you know you don't have to necessarily hit this hard. People think that when they're breaking a cluster, they have to smash it. It's only like 4 balls you're running into. It's not
Right.
necessary to hit it that hard. You don't want to hit it too soft, but you want to hit it, you know, with enough speed to make sure you at least maintain control of that cue ball, right? 1, 2, and then there you go towards the corner, right?
That didn't.
But she hit it with the right speed, because had she hit it harder, the cue ball might have scratched in
Yeah.
that lower right-hand
Yeah.
corner pocket. And you know, I've seen so many, I'm talking about even world champions, they shoot shots like that and they're not mindful of little details like that, and they get frustrated when they go 2 rails and they scratch in the corner pocket. You know, you have
It's
to
'cause
pay
they're not
attention.
really thinking
You have
it
to
out.
pay attention to the details.
So what do you do here, Tony? She's just got to focus on that 13 in the side.
Yeah, if she's going to play the 13 in the side and can come off the rail and then shoot the 9 in the side and bump the 3 ball for a break shot, if she has that angle,
What
right?
a nice shot that
Yeah,
was. That was a
awesome.
really good shot. I know from experience, these side pockets, when you get at an angle like that,
Yeah, they're very
they
tough.
become very small.
Very tough. And if she bumps the 3 ball to break shot territory, the cue ball stops there for the 6, and you can
Then
use the
she's
6.
great. Yeah.
Mhm. You know, the other option is shoot the 6 and then bump the 3. Shoot the 3 and bump the 9 for a break shot, and leave the cue ball in the rack. If that doesn't work, then you could just leave the cue ball near the center of the table and have the ball go on the head spot and try to cut that in. You see, that's what she's looking at.
Yeah. I've come up with this shot a couple times during the tournament. It's not ideal because you can't get that speed into the that you would if you had a ball close to the
Mhm.
rack, but it's at least something, and you don't have to sell out.
Ooh, wow, she jumped up.
Oh.
She jumped up again. She jumped up again.
Yeah. Uncharacteristic. I think she wasn't 100% focused on
That's
that
exactly what
as
happened.
much as where she was going with the cue ball.
Yeah.
Kelly's capable of running this whole set out. She ran 135 before she came here to the tournament. So
Very impressive. I love what Pia's doing here. Shoot that 3 ball, a slightly tougher shot. You know, Steve Miserak taught me years ago, sometimes if you choose a slightly tougher shot, it'll make the run out easier. If you use an easy shot, it'll make the run out tougher. That's a classic example there.
right,
Because if she would have chosen the easy shot, she has no break shot.
right,
So there's no risk, no reward, right?
right. So now she's going to come off the bottom, which I'm assuming that you would hit off the bottom to the right, just clip it. Would you
Oh,
come-
yes. What you want to do is when you come off the 9 ball, you want to hit, if possible, the corner ball. In this case, if the 11 ball. If you hit the 5 ball, it's a little trickier to get the cue ball out of the bottom rail, because it'll come off the 5 and hit the 11 and then want to keep the cue ball. But what you don't want to do is, if you're going to hit this very hard, you want to try to hit at least the center of the rack, only because if you hit the edge of the rack, the cue ball could come off the long rail, and if you have a lot of spin, go into the side pocket.
Right. And that's just a preference of the style of player,
Mhm.
whether they're smashing it.
Yeah, she might still hit it, but she might
Mm.
not end up with anything. That's
Yeah.
that 4 creeps out. Nope. So she just misjudged it. She hit it a little too thin.
Right. But isn't it, I was going to say, that's a preference, is whether you're going smashing it into the middle of the
That's
pack
correct, yeah.
or whether you're just picking out.
Mhm.
So I know some players, they tend to pick out balls, like Alan is one that will not smash into the rack.
Yeah.
He
He's
picks
great at
them
that, but he
out.
has such great cue ball control, you know.
Right. And they say some of it's changed because of the cloth
It's true.
over the years. You know, like in Willie Mosconi's day, the cloth was
I'm with Alan on that one. That was a good shot. I'm with Alan on that because that's my style of play too. I like to pick him off because I repeated this multiple times during this tournament where there's a difference between performing surgery. Some doctors like to perform surgery and others like to create a bloody mess. And the ones that create a bloody mess are the ones that, you know, run into the rack and hope and pray for the best. And the other ones, they're picking them off one by one because they have the cue ball control, but they're looking for that. And eventually it becomes part of your game.
I
So-
like that
so-
analogy, a bloody
Well,
mess.
well, Alan's a surgeon, you know.
That was a good shot. She does the shot well. She's frozen me earlier today on that back rail pretty good, and it puts a lot of pressure. Now, Kelly is such a good shot maker. There's nothing here for her to shoot that I can see.
Hmm.
But if there was an open one, Kelly's tempted to kind of go for that shot.
Well, you know, the good thing about is when you're learning how to play safe here, if you hit the 12 into the 10 and the 10 into the 7, you have a gap before one ball reaches the other, so the 10 will lose a little bit of speed. I think she's just going to play like a kick shot, like a 9-ball safety kick shot.
I don't know if I like this.
Yeah, I'm not
This
a
is
fan
gonna,
of that.
No, that's going to... Well, it worked out.
It
for
worked
her.
out, but I'm
Well,
not a
did it,
fan of
though?
that.
Did it, though?
Yeah,
Does
it all
she have
depends.
the... Does Pia have that back cut, or is that too much of a back cut? I think that's too much of a back cut, maybe.
Well, you know, I'm one of those players that when it comes to hitting the 12 thin, I don't feel like I can hit as thin as I used to.
Yes.
You know, so
I hear you.
so in a way, I don't know if she felt the same way. Maybe that's why she chose that. But still, like you said, if you take the risk and says, I mean, if you shoot the 10 to the 12 to the 10 when Kelly was up there, once the 12 hits a 10, the 10 is going to lose a little bit of velocity because it's not frozen to another ball where it's just going to send it
Right.
out and leak it out. You know, so you don't have to hit it that hard. You can hit it with enough speed to leave the cube on the side. But I'm a firm believer that if you keep the safety battle up there, it's a lot tougher for a player to play return safety.
She's cutting this in.
Oh, she ran into the
That
other
was
ball.
dangerous. That was
Yeah.
very dangerous. This is left Kelly with a pretty good open table.
Oh yeah, I mean the only thing that I could see her giving problems here that she has plenty of options to solve is the 11 and the 12.
Right, right.
She has plenty of ways to get to that ball.
Yeah. And hopefully for her, she remembers what she did the last time she was at the table, which was just took her focus off. So
Hmm.
it's time to like bear down and refocus to get through this rack.
You know,
Would you pick a break ball right now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like
Okay.
I'm already looking at the 10 and the 4 as a key ball to the 6 ball or to the 11 ball. But see right there, what she's doing there, she wanted to get straighter. She's trying to perform surgery, right? She's trying to pick off the balls and know that the 14 already goes in the low right-hand
Right.
side. And by getting rid of that, the 7 now goes in the left-hand
Yes,
side.
yes.
So that's what you're always looking to do first and foremost, if possible.
But she just came up a little bit short.
Hmm.
So if she takes it now, she's going to be running into the 7. And that's another thing you don't want to do. When everything is open, you don't want to bump any balls, really,
Yeah.
because then you might cluster
Mhm.
something up.
Unless you're trying to manufacture something, which is different.
Right.
Let's see if she opens up to 12. Nope.
Let's see.
Yeah, but you know
She
she has
kinda had
an
to, though.
opportunity here. You know, if she shot the 1 ball and then the 15 and shot a stop shot, she can shoot the 5 ball and either run into the 12 and 11 or just slow roll it in and then shoot the 12 in the opposite side pocket, and then that opens up the 11 for the corner. Then she could use a 10 or the 4 as a key ball.
Right. Well, now the 7 looks pretty good. I don't think the 7
Mhm.
is in the rack. That looks like a
No.
really good break
No, it's
shot.
definitely not in the rack. See, I think she was trying to do that. I think she was trying to get straight on the 15,
Yeah.
and she came just a hair short. See, that's why she's nodding her head. Because she shoots a stop shot there. She shoots a 5 and just gets rid of the problem right away.
Right.
So she might consider maybe slightly running into the 7. I think she's
Oh.
looking to see if the 6 goes in, because if she can shoot the 6 and bump the 11, I mean the 12 out, or go in between them, that would be ideal too. So she could use a 15 to get to the 6. She's looking
Yeah.
to see if the 6 goes in.
Because if she bumps the 7, she's going to have to hit this really soft.
Yeah.
Oh, she
hit
could
that
hold
great.
it.
Yeah, she could
Okay.
hold it, so she's good. So why are you nodding your head, Kelly?
Because she didn't get perfect. All right, so now she's taking the 5, going into these. And then which part of the, in between the 11 and the 6, is that where you're going?
Yeah, I mean, you're either going to play position with a 12 in the side or just run into them. But what I love about what she did there is I like the speed she hit it with. I wouldn't hit it that hard. You know, I would have tried to hit a 12 ball a little thinner. But I always tell people, when you shoot a shot like that, you're running into the top side of the ball, hit it with enough speed so that just in case the cue ball ends up going towards the 10, it'll knock it away from the cue ball.
Okay.
Because if not, you could end up frozen on top of the 10. I've seen that happen to me a gazillion times. But see, you know what I would do here, Dawn? I would slow roll the 11 ball, bump off the 6 very lightly, shoot the 4 on the side, use a 4 to get to the, what is that, the 3?
3.
And then use a 3 to get to the 12,
Yep.
and then the 12 to get to the 7, and then the 7 for the 10 on the side for position for the break shot.
So
See?
your triangle is the 7, 10, 6.
Mm-hmm. Well, you see how much easier that would have been?
Yes, yeah. So now,
Because now she might have to get rid of that 10 ball. But if
well,
she
she
just
is.
rolled it down,
She's going to have to.
if she rolled it down and just shot the 4, the 3, the 12, the 7, and the 10.
Yeah, so now she's looking at the 3, the 12, then maybe the 4 to the 10, but now she's got to.
Well, now she has to shoot a tougher shot. I would still shoot the 10 now and then use a 3 to the 12, the 7, and the 4 because it's almost
Get
the
rid
same
of that,
thing.
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
It's a slightly tougher shot, but it's what Mizrak said. If you
Yep.
take the slightly tougher shot, the run out becomes easier and vice
Right,
versa.
right. Right.
That was the shot right there. She just made her run a gazillion times easier that way.
Okay, so now she's, yep.
Perfect. Now she just come
Yeah.
off the rail enough to just get straight on the 7. Yeah, these diamond tables are tough for straight pool.
They are.
Yeah.
Well, you can just fit 2 balls in
Yeah.
the pocket. I mean, they're pretty tight. Plus, the shelf is always, the shelf is, the way they make these are deeper,
Mhm.
so they bobble more. You have to hit it in the center of the pocket here.
I will say it to the day I die. I grew up playing in big pockets, and big pockets is how I learned how to play straight pool, and I think that's the correct way to play the game. I don't care if my opponents run 150 and out on me all the time, or I run 150 and out on them, but I think that, it's tough to go get away from the stuff you grew up with, I grew up playing on Brunswick tables with 5-inch pockets, and I'm not saying they should be 5-inch, but that's how old Mosconi and all the greats played back then. But I think that, it should definitely be at least 4 3/4 if it's straight pool. Now, if you're talking about, this is a debate that's been going on forever. And I'm just talking about straight pool. All the other games, I have no problem with 4 1/2 or 4 1/4. It's just straight pool. You need to have the ability to cheat the pocket enough to create angles. And when I say that to people, they say, well, then you shouldn't get out of line. I said, well, it has nothing to do with that. What if my opponent leaves me a shot after a miss, where I have to cheat the pocket and I can't? Well, what are you going to tell me there?
Okay, Tony, it's low on there, so are you drawing it out?
Well, if she has a line going straight to the ball, she has to hit it with a lot of speed to get the cue ball out of there.
So she went forward.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, you know what it is?
I don't think she has. Oh, she has the 8 ball as a shot. Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead.
We spoke about this when we were, practicing before the tournament, and we spoke about how if you're going to hit the bottom of the ball, you have to hit it with stun draw to draw away from the scratch. If you hit it dead straight, you hit it with follow, and she's hung the ball. She hung the ball.
I don't think she had a shot anyway.
And then, no, the 8 went. She just,
No, I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, you mean afterwards? Yeah,
Afterwards. But maybe that's because she missed it. Maybe
Yeah.
she would have had the.
Yeah, she would have made it. She would have
She
had
would've
just a
had the
little more
2.
speed on the cue ball.
Yeah.
And then if you hit if you have the tangent lines telling you you're going to hit the top of the ball, that's when you hit it with draw, so you can draw up the table. So having that knowledge is important because now you know exactly where to hit the cue ball, what speed to hit it with, and you have one less thing to think about. And now you have more energy to focus on making the ball. Because a lot of times people miss break shots because they're still not sure where the cue ball is going and they're too worried about it.
Right.
Or mishit it.
And that's a subject that, so let's say you have your break shot, right? And you look at the tangent line.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to suit it draw, but you're going to really force it. Doesn't that slide a little bit so your tangent line is kind of changing a little bit? Because I know that sometimes it almost curves around
Mm-hmm.
before it hits the pack or whatever. It almost takes a little bit of a different trajectory than
Uh-oh.
That's a problem.
Well, it all depends because see, if the break shot is very close to the rack, it's impossible for you to modify that tangent line because the harder you hit it, the longer the cue ball stays on the tangent line before the draw, the follow grab. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And even if you're a foot away, if you hit it 100 miles an hour, that cue ball doesn't have enough room to tail off or to draw away because of the force, because you're trying to draw it in one direction, but you're sending it in another direction with a lot of force. So it makes sense that since you're sending it forward with a lot of force, it's going to stay on a straight line before the act. Now, if you're shooting a side pocket break shot, the cue ball might curve because it has time to curve before it reaches the rack, you see?
Right.
So it all depends on the table, how much slide there is, A lot of times you run into the ball correctly, and if the table has a brand new cloth, it's going to slide a lot. It's supposed to roll forward and go through the balls, and the balls won't spread the way they should. So the equipment has a lot to do with it, too.
She made a really nice shot, but didn't really get any reward, so this is where Pia's going to... Oh, I guess Pia does have a combination shot here. If she can get the cue ball to come up.
Oh, she shot it off the 9.
Now
She
look
tried to
out,
leave the
cue ball.
Ooh.
Double whammy there.
Yeah. Carl Kantowitz is a trooper. He's been...
Oh, yeah, he's great. This is the tournament director, Carl Kantowitz, and he has been out there night and day and night since this thing started.
He's always here before the first ball is hit and until the last ball drops. Reminds me of my dad. When my dad used to go with me in the U.S. Open 9 ball, when they used to have in the conference center many years ago, he was always the first one there to watch the first ball fall in and the last ball to drop. And you couldn't get that man to sit down if his life depended on it. He wanted to stand all the time, no matter how many hours he was there for. I think the only time I got him to sit down is to feed him.
Oh, so he was a big supporter of your game then.
Well, he just loved watching. Even when I wasn't playing, if I was in my room, he was out there watching all day long and all night long until the last ball drops.
Bet you miss having him along.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's up there. He's 86 now, so he's slowing down a bit. You never want to, see your old man slowing down.
Yeah.
But that's part of life, unfortunately.
But is he still up and around and, still not sitting? My mom used to come with me to the tournaments all the time. And it was fun having her along as a travel partner.
Awesome. That's how I met Jennifer Beretta's mom, who passed away. Was it last year or this year that Jennifer's mom passed away?
I think it was last year.
Yeah, but that's how I met her mom. I used to see her at the expo because she lived in Pennsylvania, I believe, and along with her aunt, who was a judge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Kelly got much straighter on this shot than she wanted to.
I'm just wondering if she has enough angle on the 14 to stunt follow it for the 5 ball in the opposite pocket. I guess not. If she's not shooting it, that means that she doesn't have it. She's just going to go up and down.
Yeah.
That might have not been hard enough. Let's see.
I think she might.
Yeah. Okay.
That's close. Wow, that's close. Think she got there?
I think she got this. She can definitely make the 5. Question is, can she hold the cue ball for the 14? Yeah, I love that. See, if she would have had less of an angle, I would have preferred that, unless she's going to shoot the combination.
Hey,
But
look. It's not coming in the way. The little hook there that you
Yeah.
were talking about. So she's playing the combo.
yeah, I don't blame her because it's almost dead straight, right? Now she can use the 14 to break him up. What I don't like about that is if you come off the bottom rail and hit that 13 dead square,
Mm-hmm.
the cue ball's going to get stuck on it.
Right. And
I always
everything else is going up.
Mm-hmm.
And you're behind the 13.
Yeah, I prefer to come in a diagonal line to hit one side or the other, right?
That
You
was
see how
great,
you hit the diagonal, you hit the side of the ball and the cue ball escaped.
She didn't get rewarded on it, though.
Mm-mm.
So, does the 11-10, is there any possibility there?
It's amazing how from the camera it looks like it's possible, and then I look at it from over here and it looks impossible.
Okay, yeah, it's a weird, it's very,
So I'm wondering if she's going to go 2 rails or 3 rails and try to play the 13 in the corner, lower right-hand corner. I think that's what she's looking at, right? That's what she was
Oh,
looking to do.
she didn't
She's-
break it up, so.
Yeah. Well, she wasn't trying to. She was trying to
No,
play
I
the
mean,
13.
I was
Yeah.
thinking for
Oh, yeah,
Pia,
I see.
when Pia steps to the table,
Yeah.
if she had broken them out, that's always like, that really hurts.
Yeah, it's weird because, Kelly's been a little bit jumpy,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not used to seeing her get up on her shots like that. It's like,
Well, this is very new to her, straight pool.
mhm.
So I know that she's not as confident with this game as she is with her 9-ball game.
Yeah.
or
Yeah, whereas
snooker
Pia
game.
is the opposite because she plays straight pool, and I mean, she's not really jumping up on her shots at all.
She's got great form, Pia.
Did she hit it hard enough? I don't think so. It's deceiving. The table's deceiving because sometimes you hit it with what appears to be more than enough speed, and it just slows down coming off the last rail.
I think the rails are consistent, but the bed has been a little
Mhm.
slower.
Yeah,
Maybe because it's
Mhm.
a little humid outside. I know
could be. Yeah.
that was a good safe. How do you play safe back here? These are very tricky, right? Because if you thin the 11, if you paper thin it,
Well, the
and-
question is, can she get the 10 ball to hit the long rail, or does she have to just lightly tap it so it barely moves and have the keyboard barely touch a rail? But either that, right? That's a move there. She hit it great.
yeah, she
because-
did. I've got to get glasses because those are scary to me.
Yeah, I feel the same way. My eyes aren't what they used to be. So I'm wondering what she's looking at here. Because, this is a little tricky. I would try to split the 10 and the cue ball so that the 10 ends up on the long rail and the right-hand side, and the cue ball ends up by the middle diamond because you don't want to leave the 15 in the side. Right?
Yeah, but can't she, if she did that,
I
wouldn't,
mean the 13. I mean the 11. I'm sorry, the 11.
wouldn't she have a shot on the 15? I mean, on the
I
13?
think she called the 10 or the 13. I can't tell.
Oh, good shot.
Nice shot.
Well, if that goes, she's not.
Wow.
Now it matters if the combo is on.
Oh, she's probably going to shoot it. I mean,
She's got to if it's on.
there really isn't much of a safe here.
Combination, 4-4 quarter pocket.
I like hitting this with some speed to have the 15 come down, back down, up, and back down.
Yeah.
I mean, if she can hit it softer and stop it by the side pocket and get the cue ball out of the rack, it's good. But if she's able to make this combination and stop the cue ball in the rack, she has ball in hand anywhere behind the line. She can, if the 15 is anywhere near the center, now she can line up any angle she wants. overcut it. And she might have left her in a pretty bad spot there.
I don't know. I like Kelly making this this 11 ball.
You know what I would do here? I would put her on top of Mount Everest.
Oh yeah.
I would roll the cue ball slowly to the floor.
Just make her
so that-
jack up
so that
over
way-
it.
Yep.
Yeah. But see, Kelly is so good at making these shots.
I mean, she can make that shot, you know.
But then there's not really.
It's not, you don't have a standard, you know, break shot on the four. It's you have to come up with it. Or, you know, you don't have to, but you can always play safe on the four. But I'm wondering if she's going with the Mount Everest shot. I'm not
She
sure.
was looking at that.
She said, but man, I'm a shooter. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I see her shooting this.
Yep.
The problem is if she makes it. If she makes it, you gotta. How are you gonna get enough English to come over and break into the pack after the four?
I think she'll see it. You know, she can see it. She just has to hit it with a lot of low right. That was a hell of a shot, by the way.
Yeah.
A lot of low right to just graze the rack, at least graze it, you know, to get balls moving on that side. Because if you graze it, the cue ball's going to go uptown, and then the balls are going to go to the opposite side, and then you increase the chances of ending up with a shot, you know. So Pia's now going to take her break, and I don't know if Kelly's going to decide to keep shooting
Kelly
or
has
wait for her.
73, Pia has 38. Kelly is breaking.
I think she's gonna look at it for a few minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to hit this absolutely perfect.
Oh yeah, this is tough. Now, how much speed do you put on this? Not a lot, right?
No, not a lot at all,
Because if you do, what happens? You
well,
put a lot.
I mean, you increase the chances of missing the ball because you have to hit it with a lot of spin to begin with, right?
Right.
Number one, so you know you widen the. Player preference, you know. I personally, it's this is a new cloth, and the spin isn't grabbing as well as I'm accustomed to.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, if I know that the spin isn't grabbing as well, I might not take the risk shooting this and trying to run into the rack, you know. But at the same time, if I'm feeling really good, I might go for it because I'm not afraid to play safe if I miss a rack.
Right. So I have a question. So now, ideally, you want to leave if you're going to play safe on the four, you want to leave the four in a dangerous spot
Mhm.
so that when the opponent gets to the table and they're playing safety, it kind of cuts off their
Yep.
things,
The
right?
limit-
So
the-
instead
yeah.
of leaving it, for example, like, I don't know, on the rail over here,
Mhm.
you might leave it in the middle of the table or
Absolutely.
something.
Yeah.
So if she played it, if the cue ball gets, you know, if she played a safe and then left the cue ball behind the pack,
That's not good.
because then the opponent's just going to play a safe back, right?
Well, because if you leave your opponent with an angle, right? See how I told you have to hit it soft,
yeah, yeah,
but I didn't think she could hit like behind the rack.
yeah.
You know.
That she got a lot of
Yeah.
spin on that.
Yeah.
Not enough to kick it out though. Would have been better if she was
Mhm.
kicked it out.
But getting back to the safety, if you go ahead and bank that 4-2 rails, let's say for example, you lead the cue ball by the first diamond closest to the pocket where the 4 was, it becomes tougher to play a return safety because you're shooting at a diagonal line as opposed to in a straight line to hit one of those balls dead solid to stop the cue ball there.
Okay.
See, like right now, I'm looking to see if the 1 is frozen to the 9 and the 3 and the 5, because if it is, I could just
To dead on.
Yeah, no, I just tap it.
Right, and just stick the cue
Yeah.
ball right there, right?
Did she just call the bank? I think she might have called the bank.
Oh, why would... Oh, because the 11's out there. But I don't know. She would have to... I don't know if that the cue ball could... She'd have to 2 or 3 rail the cue ball to get a shot afterwards. Seems like a lot of...
She has an opportunity to play safe by going 2 rails off the 6 and going underneath the rack, you know,
Yeah, I don't know if...
or even 1 rail.
I don't think I like that.
Yeah.
Because she left Pia a shot. It's a hard shot, but she
Mhm.
left her a shot. Pia's been shooting these shots very good today.
Yeah. And as I said earlier, every ball counts, right?
Yes.
She's weighing the options. Should I go aggressive? Or should I be a little more conservative? Gonna go for it.
I guess if she weighs that how difficult the safety is versus the
Very
shot.
nice.
See, she's
Yeah.
hitting those shots really
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, you could tell she feels comfortable hitting them.
Mm-hmm.
And if she makes a 6 ball on the side and end up with a nice angle on the 12, she can do a nice little break. And what I love about this break is that you see like the letter U. It's like a little pocket. I call it a pocket.
Yeah.
Anytime you have an opportunity to go inside a pocket like that, it's almost impossible for the cue ball to scratch because, you know, it's trying to get trapped there. But at the same time, you have to hit it with enough speed to make sure you get it out of there. I'm not sure if she feels 100% confident.
It's
comfortable with
a
the 6 ball.
difficult cut.
Yeah.
Like I said, in those side pockets, they're tough. They got me a lot this weekend. So.
And she's going to shoot the 12. And maybe shoot the 11 in the side and break him up a bit.
Can't get much force on this, though, right?
Mm-mm. She's got, you know, she's not in the middle of the rack. It looks like she's going to hit like the edge of the rack. So, you know, the 1 is going to, if the 3 is frozen to the 9, I guess she's going to shoot the 6 ball and then try to break him with the 11 ball in the
Yeah,
corner.
that seems...
Hit it dead solid. Now, you know, the problem with this shot is you have to be careful not to come off the 2 ball and then end up going either towards the pocket or the bottom rail. So, you know, it's a little tough to avoid. It all depends on the speed she hits it with. If she hits it softer, she's going to hit it fuller.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, you don't get much movement that way, right?
right.
Wondering if the 15 is on. Can she make the 15 past the 10, or is it that combination from the other side? I think that's what she's looking at. Because if the 15 goes, you got to shoot the 15 here.
Right.
I mean, that 15
it's-
is like a hanger compared to the 13 she made with the cue ball frozen on the rail, right?
Unless it looks like she's shooting the 8. If the combination is on with the 15 in the bottom
Mhm.
right-hand corner, then she can just roll up, hit the 3. But if
You
it's not, then she can't continue her run anyway. So what's the difference? You might as
Yeah.
well just go for it.
Well, she can't continue the run. The move here is to call a safe, pocket the 8, and leave the cue ball all the way on the top of the rail. You know, the top rail.
I think she's going to go for that combo.
So I'm saying if the combo's on, then she should be fine. I don't know if she's going to hit the 3, 5, 10, 15. That's what I'm assuming she's
Yeah,
going to do.
I think that's what she's... What else would you do? Why would you play position there if you don't have that? Unless she's just going to play another safe back.
Gotcha. Yeah, Chris said maybe possibly the 2 off the 7. But I don't know. I
No.
think they might be frozen.
No, she's not
She's
calling
going to play
it.
it safe. But see, you see, if she calls a safe here, she puts herself in a position where it's very difficult to play a safe.
You're right. She should have just played the cue ball up top.
Exactly,
Yeah.
call a safe and, pocket the 8 and the 8 goes to the spot.
But I think originally she may have considered playing that combination. I think that's what, and then she thought about it and decided not to sell out.
But then if that's the case, if it's that dead, you have to worry about leaving her with a combination, because she didn't really move the 9 much to the point where it disturbed it. So maybe it's not dead, Over here, she's supposed to hit this super thin and try to leave the cue ball all the way
Just
up.
push the 1 behind everything and leave it frozen up on the rail.
But make sure that the 9 and the 5 aren't in the line to the pocket after she moves the 1, because sometimes you have a dead combo. What she said, 14 in the side. She said, is that what she said?
That's what she said.
Oh, 15 in the side. So he said 14 in the side. Okay, I was a little confused there. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
But why do you do that instead of doing what you said and having a lock-up safety now? You're making it easy safety for Pia.
100%. That's why I would go the other route.
Right.
Remember I said earlier, whenever you have an opportunity, if you keep the safety battle up there, it's a lot tougher to play safety from up there than it is from down here.
Absolutely. That's one thing I haven't seen a lot. I think the choice of keeping the, how you thin the back of the rack and you keep the cue ball back on the bottom rail versus making a safety where you're sending it up table. Not a lot of them are pushing it up to the top, and of course now you can't because you've got 2 balls out. That was a good safe because
The one doesn't
you only
call,
have the side pocket. That's the only pocket you can put this if you're going to go for a shot. It's either that or you're going to figure another safety.
I wonder if she's going for it. I don't know if she called it. Yep, she's going for it.
Well,
Have to be careful not to hit it too hard, because if the cue ball stays longer than the tangent, you might go close to the corner pocket.
Yeah. See, there wasn't a lot of...
But she shot it with what I call smart speed, just in case she missed it.
Right. 2-way shot. But if she made it, then I don't get that. Why would you do that anyway? Because now you're shooting like this. If you
Because
make it.
I've been in the mind of a lot of amateur players, because I taught a lot of them straight pool for years. And one of the strategies that I told them that they should use whenever they're playing a higher level player is pocket as many balls as you can. Don't worry about, these are people getting handicapped in the handicap league I'm talking about. Pocket as many balls as you can. Don't worry about the pattern. And eventually you're going to win matches when you play someone equally, more or less, skill level than you are. But the other strategy that I used to tell people, a buddy of mine who was a top straight pool player got annoyed at me in a joking way, because I gave a student a lesson when he was about to play him in the playoffs of the straight pool league, and I said, run as many balls as you can, but first and foremost, pocket any possible break shots that he may have. So he pocketed all these break shots in the beginning, and my friend never had a break shot to could do a big run. So it's like, there are strategies for players that are not as comfortable.
Right.
I think it all depends. You play to your strengths and your weaknesses, and then learn from there. But if you play smart enough, it is possible to win.
So would you have taken the 1 in the side and frozen the cue ball in the back and maybe made it? Like you would take that point? Would that point
I would have
be
just
worth
called
it?
a safe, so that if I make it, I just leave him behind the rack.
You wouldn't try to make that point?
No. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't try to make that. I mean, it just doesn't make sense when I can put my opponent. But, again, if I left them behind the rack, I wouldn't want to leave them, again, like I said, in the center of the table, on the bottom rail, because it makes it easier for them to play a return safety
Right.
and stick me behind the rack. She's gonna try to put him behind the rack. I think put her behind the rack.
Oh, she can make a ball though.
She can make the ball. I just don't know if she can, you know, end up running into
You
the
know
rack.
what I like here? I like playing the 2 down in the corner and then using that 1 to go into them, and then you have that. What do you call it? A Geico. A Geico in the side pocket, right?
Yeah. And
Would
you,
that be a good play?
yes, and you can also use it as a break shot, right? She might go 2 rails here into the cluster. I think that's what she's looking to do.
See,
Right.
I liked using the 1
Hey, look at this. Look
after
at
the
this.
2.
Almost left with no shot. You know, she just left Kelly with a perfect angle on the 15 to shoot the 15 and then go to the opposite side to play position for the 1 and break him out.
Wait a minute, you lost me on that one.
She left Kelly with a perfect angle on the 2 ball. It's shot on the 2 ball, so that all she has to do is stop it, then shoot the 15 in the low right hand corner pocket
Yeah.
and slow roll the cue ball to this side, opposite side of the table
Oh,
to
for
shoot
the
the
1.
1
Yeah.
and break him out. She's
Right.
just like left her dead perfect, and she didn't mean to, but you know
Right.
it was accidental. But that's what happened. I don't think she wanted to draw it back that much. Let me see. Now she has to see. She's nodding her head. Because now she has to hit this perfectly in order, you know, like if you just stop it there, even though it's a slight bit more of a cut, you just have a natural follow
Yeah.
shot where you don't have to hit it with stun follow
Now she has
perfectly
to
or
punch
stun
it,
draw
yeah.
anything.
Yeah, now she has to punch it over. Oh, that's danger.
No, I knew she couldn't hit much of it if she decided to run into it. But I think the shot there would have been to punch it.
Yes, just to punch it and get over here on the.
See, now here you just have to just tap it. Just make sure you barely move the balls and try to leave them long. That's the danger of hitting it, you know, a little too thick. And I'm not saying that's what she wanted to do. It's sometimes just tough to hit it that thin,
Sure.
you know.
But this is quite a gutsy shot for Pia to take the 7 ball if she was going to take the 7.
Oh, yeah.
If she makes it, she's a hero and things are going to break out. If she doesn't, she's selling out. And Kelly's already at 73.
Mm-hmm.
Do you look at the score in your match to determine what you do?
Never. Like yesterday when I ran 79 and out in my match, my final match, I didn't even know I ran out. I didn't even know how many I ran. The guy told me the match was over, you know. Very nice. That's a safer thing to do.
Yeah. So now she's put the 7 in a spot where Kelly can't play up table, really, because it's an easier spot to make.
So see, if right here the cue ball's in a position where I don't have a direct safe, right? I will take a foul and modify the balls in a way so that if they decide to take a foul, I might have a better chance of playing a return safety the second time around, right?
Right.
And also a lot of times if you go ahead and nudge the cue ball a little bit to just leave it on top of the 10 even though you're taking a foul, if they don't know the move, they'll try to come off that ball because they're afraid of losing 1 point and end up selling out in the process. So it's
Yeah.
almost like you're trying to lure your opponent into a trap. Because the problem here is if she hits the 1 to the 9, the 9 the 9 is going to go up the table. So she has to hit it pretty good in order to hide her from both the 7 and the 9.
Right.
Which she did.
Oh, she did that well,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, she did.
Yep, she did.
But you see how perfect she had to
She
hit it?
had to
That's
hit
what I'm saying.
Yep.
See,
Another 2 inches and she would have sold out.
and that's why I would have taken the scratch there because I don't like to take risk like that because if she hits it just a hair too, because she has to hit it with enough speed to make sure the cue will reach the rail, right? So
Right.
for it to be a legal shot. But if you hit it just a hair too hard, you're selling out. And not only are you selling out, now you're making the 9 ball and then shooting the 7 and breaking it apart. You know, she didn't do it, but, you know, it's just, my
Right.
point is that's why I would take a foul there.
Okay, so my 9 ball wants to ask this question, my 9-ball side of me.
Mm-hmm.
Can you use jump sticks in
No.
straight pool?
Nope.
Not allowed, right?
Never been. It's never been allowed in the game of straight pool because it didn't exist back then. As a matter of fact, one of the guys from Kuwait took out his jump cue in this tournament and jumped over a ball, and he was told that he wasn't allowed. He said, really, why not? My opponent used it against me the previous match. Said then he wasn't allowed to use it. And then I found out the name of the guy that used it, and someone said, you know, if he's the one that did it first, he knows better. He plays straight pool. He should know better than to do that. So, you know, but if he thought he could use it because his opponent did it against him and no one said anything.
Right.
But yes, it's never been allowed in straight pool. So unfortunately for the guy from Kuwait, they called a foul and then the ball had to come back up and he lost the point. But I think he won the match. I'm almost sure he won the match. So over here, let me see. What is she going to do? Go for the 10 ball in the same pocket?
Look at that.
10 ball in the same
Nice
pocket.
shot up a little higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's going to.
Yeah, but she's good at these shots.
Yes, she is. Yeah. I got to give a shout out to Peter Burrows.
Oh, yeah.
He's a wonderful man. He's
Mhm.
put this whole thing together for everybody,
Yeah.
for the men and the women, and he's been doing this event for years.
Yeah. Watch a 14 go by the top rail. See that?
As we speak,
Yeah.
she misses it.
It was a tough shot.
It
a tough
was,
shot.
but she's so good at those. I wouldn't have bet against her on that.
I wouldn't bet against her on any shot. You know, I've always loved her game and respected it so much. I mean, she's amazing.
Well, that's why she's now
Yeah.
going to be a Hall of Fame member.
Yeah, and she deserves it, 100%.
She just won a tournament in Austria, right?
Yeah.
It's not Australia. I have to get. It's another
Austria.
Aus. It's another Aus. Austria.
Well, this is a big opportunity for Pierre here to get back into the match. Very big opportunity, especially since she has a nice layout here to get an ideal or standard break shot on the 5 ball. And you can tell me as a fighter, man, she's like, you know, got that ferocity, you know.
Pia.
Pia. Oh, what did I say?
Mia.
Oh, Mia. Sorry about that.
It all sounds. We have a Kia here too.
Yeah.
So we're using all the alphabet.
Yeah, we're using all the Ias. What's funny, you know, now that we're talking about names, right? I got one for you that you're going to find hard to believe, and this is a true story. My wife's cousin married a doctor who's now a pediatric oncologist, right? But during his training, you know, he was involved in a couple of births, right? And he asked the mother one time, what would you like to name your child? And the mother said, his name is going to be, and I'm going to spell it for you, JKMN.
JKMN.
So I said, how do you pronounce that? Jukman? Or Jokeman? I don't know. So, you know, he was confused, and he said, well, why would you do that to that child?
Yeah, really.
You won't believe how you pronounce that name. Think about it for a second before I tell you.
JKMN. Yeah, Jackman.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If you were doing the alphabet, what letter is missing?
L.
Exactly. So guess what the name was? No L. Because there's no L in between the JK and M. I kid you not. You believe that? I said, why would you torture that kid like that?
Noel. Nobody's going to
Noel,
get that.
Noel, Noel. No, and then he has to explain himself why his name is that. I said, man, poor kid is going to go through torture, probably
Oh,
even get into some
jeez.
fist fights growing up because
Wow.
of it.
Yeah. It's amazing what parents do to their children.
I give him credit for being creative. Oh, that's just a
Oh.
shocker there. That's a shocker. That was a
Yeah.
surprise. I wasn't expecting that at all. But I give him credit for being creative enough to come up with something like that, but not for naming the child. I think you're a lunatic.
Yeah.
for that.
What I've seen, when I did the expo, the Super Billiards Expo, we would get the mail in every day, and the entries for the amateurs, and we had thousands of names.
Mhm.
Some of the names I would crack up laughing putting labels on.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane. She's going to play the 8 ball here, and I'm assuming she's going to draw back a bit. I mean,
I don't
I
know
would
if I
not
like
risk.
that.
Yeah, I wouldn't risk a following
No.
because you could end up on the wrong
Yeah,
side of the
There's
other
nothing
side.
above that pack, right?
Yeah, there's nothing above, and okay, that's a much better shot.
Yeah.
And then maybe play the combo afterwards. See, now you can control the cue ball better from here
Right.
because you're not on the rail anymore.
Right. There you go. Now she's in much better. Now, which ball do you take? The 10? And if you go into it, or the
She's-
14?
She's gonna end up hitting that 12 ball pretty solid. Let me see. Let me look at it from
Well, she's
here.
looking at the 10 though.
Yeah, I don't know. You don't get much movement from the cue ball, but you see.
I didn't. Yeah. Oh, that could have been costly. She ended up with a shot, but.
Yeah, someone wrote in the comments that you can jump in 14.1, but you have to use your playing cue. Absolutely, that's automatic. If you can jump with your playing cue, then yeah, you can definitely do
Okay.
that.
All right.
But what I'm saying is that the point we were trying to make is that you are not allowed to use a jump cue in 14.1.
Okay. Thank you for that comment, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. So here,
Well, if she can get to the 12, back up to the 3, get straight on the 3, and then get rid of the.
yeah, I'm just looking to see if she were to shoot the 7, can she hit the 1 full enough to nudge something out of there while maintaining a shot on the 13? I don't think so, because I'm looking at it from away from the monitor, and she's just barely going to touch that 13. See, now if she went ahead and shot the 7, drew back a bit for the 3 or the 13, that would be a better option right there.
But that cluster of 4 balls, nothing, unless there's a combination there, nothing really goes there.
Yeah. But see, look, this is what I don't like. If you shoot the 3 ball, you're favoring the 1 ball on one side or dead straight. It's not really doing anything. You see what I'm saying? It's not really doing anything at all.
She just created more problems. And she doesn't have an angle to go into them now.
And now it's funny, we were just talking about jump shots. This is a perfect jump shot here. She hits it with high right and elevates the stick so that the cue ball will curve in and get closer to the corner pocket and go 2 rails into the cluster.
Ooh.
I love that shot. See, she tried to do it that way, but had she jumped it, she's going to be sick when I tell her what she could have done there, because I showed her a similar shot the other day. I was helping her out with her straight pool game, and I showed her a jump shot where you're almost dead straight, kind of similar to that, but you're very close to a cluster of balls, and you hit it with enough speed so that when you make the ball, the cue ball jumps up and lands in the center of the cluster and spreads them out.
Nice.
And she said, I like that shot. I loved it.
Was that the similar shot to a 9-ball? If your ball's in the way for you to go up the table and you got a little angle, you jack up and it kind of jumps over. But this time
absolutely.
you're jumping into the center.
That's correct.
So if she wouldn't do the 1 doesn't go, right? Off the 9.
I don't think so.
I
no.
don't think so. I don't
Yeah,
even
it looks
think
like
she
it's
can
too
get
low.
to it.
It looks like it's too low.
So she just wants to be able to see a piece of the 11. I'd push her right back, right?
Well, this is a strategy too that's used a lot in straight pool too. When someone sees that you're nearing the end of the match, you try to prolong it as much as you can by trying to force your opponent to lose a couple of points, because you know that if you take a scratch, you're going to take an intentional scratch back, because you don't want to be the one to take the risk. You see? So she's already lost one, and now she's probably going to lose another one, and before she decides to get aggressive and try to play it safe. But see, if I were to take a back scratch like that, I would try to. I'm always trying to test my opponent's knowledge. I would try to take a back scratch, but leave the cue ball in a position where if they take a back scratch and don't put it back to where it originated, now I'm in a better position if I'm on the left side to shoot the 11 and play it safe.
That's why I thought
right?
Kelly should have put her back right
Absolutely.
where it was, right? Because I think Pia was trying to be able to see, like, if she's over where she originally was, thinning it isn't really an option because you have to worry about too much. But now she has the 11 to look at.
Yeah.
See, and
She hit it perfectly.
and she wouldn't have had that if Kelly had put her over in the same spot.
You always want to put it in the spot where it makes your opponent's life. Whenever I teach safe to my students, I always tell them my goal is to teach you how to make your opponent's life as miserable as humanly possible.
She can't see this 9, can she?
I don't think so. Unless she's thinking of shooting the 9 off the 11. Right, that's what she's looking at, right? The 9 off the 11.
I don't think I don't.
I mean, listen, I know people that feel 100% comfortable with shots like that. I like the fact that if she stopped the cue ball there and the 9 doesn't go in, the 9 will go 2 rails and the 11 will go up towards the side pocket too. So in a way, it's kind of a smart shot.
Oh, wow.
She made it, though.
What a beautiful shot. Beautiful shot. Well, there's not really a good break shot, and she does need, let's see, I don't know how many balls she's got this rack.
They're supposed to put up whatever balls they make as soon as their inning is over. So
I'm not
for
sure
some
they're
reason, she
doing
had
that.
78. Oh, she's going to spin this in and get on the 6 and probably
Use
end
the
up with
9,
enough
leave
angle.
an angle on the 9 and just use high right English to... And again, when you do that, you want to hit the bottom balls, the bottom of the rack.
Well, the most important thing is try to approach the rack in a diagonal line.
Right.
You know? But when
So
it's
that it
that
has
high...
forward momentum so that it can get out of there.
Yes, but where the 11 is now, I would want to hit the top of the rack because it gives me a better shot, even if I hit the ball dead square, of escaping. Because whenever you hit the top 2 balls, the one that's farthest away from the 11 will usually come off the tangent line of the second ball and then go towards the side pocket. So you can
have
actually play
something.
position.
Gotcha.
Very nice.
All right, let's see what the score is now. They're only going to 100, so Kelly is smelling the finish line. Wouldn't this be a nice title? The first ever American 14.1 straight pool championship, along with her induction into the Hall of Fame, all in the same week.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I would assume since she's here, she's going to play in the International Open, right? I don't see any reason why she wouldn't.
I don't know.
Since she has to be here anyway, she might as well compete.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Kelly's breaking and she's leading 91 to 46.
Gotcha.
So she only needs 9 balls. This break is really important for her.
See, she happens to hit that 2 dead square. The 2 will hit the 13. The 13 comes off the 1 and heads towards that left-hand side pocket. Or the corner pocket, right?
Beautiful.
She hit that
Beautiful.
great.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can she see the 15? I think she can, or the 9. I think the 9 goes. So this is when I need 9. I always look at the balls and I say, okay, how many are loose? Do I have enough loose balls so that I don't have to worry about disturbing
You
the
know,
rack?
I know you talked about you don't even look at the score. You don't even know if you're But sometimes it's good to do that towards when you're finished,
Oh, absolutely.
because if you're trying to do something fancy to get a break shot on that last ball and you didn't need to, all you needed to do was
100%.
make that ball.
I lost a match like that once, Dawn. Yeah,
Yeah.
I lost a match like that once.
Well, with all the balls opened up, this is not the greatest position here to be.
Mm-hmm.
She has to just move the cue ball forward, so if the 9 doesn't go in the side pocket, all she has really is that combination.
Yeah, I
down at
think
the
she's going to
bottom.
shoot the 9 next. She has enough balls to run out. She definitely does, because the 1 ball could be the last ball. Right, because she's already pocketed 3 and she needs 6. So if she shoots a 9, well, I don't know if she can get on the 12 from here. Maybe she's just going to play the 1 ball next. Yep, she's going to play the 1 ball next.
Yep, and then you got
And-
the 3 and the 8,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got the 4 down there. That's easy.
Yep. She should be out from here, right, Dawn?
Well, this game of pool, I never assume anything. So much can
can't.
happen.
Yeah, we've
But
all
it's-
learned our lesson the hard way.
Yes. I mean, I've seen top champions miscue
I
when
was
you never
shooting.
thought that. See, that was a little bit out of line, right?
Yeah.
So you have to stay in line, otherwise you can create a problem.
I mean, I would consider shooting the 13 now, Dawn, and
Me
play position
too,
for the
yeah.
12 ball.
How many she
Or
need?
even just shoot the 13 and play the 8 ball.
3. So she needed
9. So that means she needs 3
5,
more.
6, 7.
She needs 3 more.
Oh yeah,
So she
that's the
should-
good shot right there. Because she might not have gotten a shot if she had
That's
gone
it.
into the pack.
Nine for 1. Okay.
All right. Kelly Fisher is your first ever women's American 14.1 champion.
Dawn, it's been a pleasure doing commentary with you. Thank you for bearing with me.
Bearing, no, you're a wealth of knowledge, and it's been great seeing you just as a friend too.
Yeah, thank you.
So, and thank you all at home for joining us. Hopefully this will inspire people to get out and play some straight pool. And like I said, if anybody is interested in learning how to support the game, just get a hold of Peter Burrows.
And congratulations.